given that this is the winter solstice, I thought, what more appropriate time than to launch or introduce our next series of instructional how-to-be videos, which is mainly focused on the Druids. We've all heard of the Druids. Maybe not able to determine where we heard first the word, but it's a common expression, and it's hard for us to even get a clear picture of them in our mind. How much do you really know about the Druids? Certainly the classic image of a circle of white-robed wizards who gather at Stonehenge immediately comes to mind. Beyond that, there's also images created by Hollywood. Oh yes, indeed, like when two druids must prevent the son of Satan from using ancient runestones to bring about the end of the world in Warlock 2: The Armageddon. Or when a druid nanny must sacrifice newborn babies to her sacred tree, which has both the powers to protect and heal her in the 1990 movie The Guardian. Or better still, how about a tribe of druid shamans who drink orange soda and dominate a tropical island with an active volcano that requires an occasional sacrifice in Joe versus the Volcano? Of course, it does not end here. The world of fantasy writing offers a unique home to things druidic. In the Shannara epic by Terry Brooks, a druid carries the truth of a fantastic land where elves, dwarves, and unspeakable horrors encounter one another. Brooks continues this druidic theme more subtly and through the eyes of a teenage girl in the trilogy that began with Running with the Demon and ended with the author's best book, in my opinion, Angel Fire East. Although they are all works of fiction, I believe the author incorporates some important messages hidden throughout each and relevant to the modern druid. Of course, the fantasy role-playing of Dungeons & Dragons was many people's introduction to the world of druids, as a similar game as Magic the Gathering, but although greatly embellished, TSR, now Wizards of the Coast, depicts the druids kind of as they probably were in various lifestyles, but except for one thing, human sacrifice. This is an aspect glorified by some, but particularly in examples Merlin's Bones, a novel by Fred Saberhagen, as well as in Hollywood. Terry Brooks provides an excellent picture of druid councils in their fall in the First King of Shannara, with no sacrifices. The reliable materials of druidic use do not indicate sacrifices. He also continues the concept in the High Druid of Shannara series, which is greatly involved with the politics and so forth of druid councils and the politics of knowledge. Of course, there seems to be a serious lack of materials concerning practical druidism. Most of the books available are rehashes of their questionable history, and fewer sources relate to anything to the reader that's useful in terms of practical druid magic. Again, unfortunate. Since middle school, I have spent the majority of my life completely immersed in things druidic and similar subjects. And I have definitely spent my share of time involved with modern druidic organizations, and at this point I believe that if your quest be druidic, it will more or less end up being an individual path, and it's hard for many to study and train such a path together. The place where a druid works in a nematon is called the Grove, which is a term comparable to the Witch's Coven and also indicative of a circle of trees. If you're somewhat experienced or previously schooled in things druidic, some of my forthcoming messages will surprise you. Some of what I present might disagree with certain traditions of modern druidism. Some of what I present might disagree with what is believed to be true in terms of European history. But I've compiled to be what I believe some of the mutual patterns of what Druidism was and is observed through my own involvement in modern Druidry, and things that I've expressed in my writings in the past and past work. And I've been trying to formulate a curriculum that is relevant to avoid the utterly ridiculous. and to express what some of the things that I've discovered in my personal studies that I've relayed to students in the past that seem to work quite well.